Well, speaking of teachers, this brother has his own school. Give it up for Edwin Avent.
All teachers have to teach a new way. And they never listen to what you have to say. They're the ones who's coming, and the world is in their hands. When you teach the children to jump the very best hand.
The energy was electric when I came into the cafeteria. It was the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade lunch period. This is a time when all of our little guys are letting out all their energy, bouncing all over the place. As I approached this one table, filled with boys from section 501, up jumps Eric Thurman, as he always does every time he sees me, excitedly ready to greet me. Good morning, Mr. CEO. How are you today, sir? I smile as I grasp his hand. Good morning, Mr. Thurman. I'm doing well, and how are you doing today? Right after that, I get a chorus of 3 more boys. They all want to excitedly jump up and greet me. Now, we actually call our boys collegiate gents at Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys. Good morning, Mr. CEO. Good morning, Mr. CEO. Over. Good morning, Mr. CEO. Good morning, Mr. Tyler. Good morning, Mr. Washington. Good morning, Mr. Muhammad. It always does my heart good whenever I see these little guys smiling and enjoying school. That's what this is all about. We're in this mission to uplift these guys. As I stood there, reflecting on what I was watching in the cafeteria, I wondered to myself, how did I get here? Was it because my mother, Dolly Avent, was a 35-year teacher in the Philadelphia school system? She always impressed upon my brother and my sister and I the importance of education. She was beloved by all her students. I know I had about 34 adopted sisters who adopted my mother. They would often be at the dinner table with us for Sunday night dinners. Or was I inspired by my father, Edward Burley? He was the first African American to be appointed to the Board of Regents by then Governor Marvin Mandel. I don't think Governor Mandel knew what he was doing when he appointed my dad, because my dad was about the people. He was all about black people. So as soon as he got on that board, he started leaning into those people saying, y'all gotta divest out of all these companies doing business in South Africa. We're not down with apartheid. That was my dad. He was the leader. Well, was I inspired to do this 30 years ago when I attended the Million Man March? Well, 30 years ago, I was a 32-year-old entrepreneur and the president of a nonprofit organization called Black Professional Men. Yeah. Our mission was to ensure the future of the African American male. And we did so by mentoring young brothers and giving scholarships to over 250 young men going to college. My company was a company called Umoja Sasa Condoms. We were the first African-American condom company in the country. That's why I say condom company. You see, back then, HIV and AIDS was ravaging our community. And I just had to do something about it. So I created this brand of condoms, and I began selling millions of condoms all across the country. I sold so many, people started to call me the condom king. Well, Umoja Sasa is Swahili, and it means unity now. And our theme was protect the blood. My heart and my mind has always been about uniting black people, uniting our community so we could overcome the oppression that we have endured in this country. So, I've just been passionate about fighting for our people. My black activist inspirations were Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey. My black entrepreneurial inspirations were Earl Graves, the publisher of Black Enterprise magazine, and John Johnson, the publisher of Ebony and Jet. Between all of these inspirations, I became a Black Power activist with an entrepreneurial soul. I believe that we needed to fight the power while we built our own empires. So when the call came out from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that he wanted 1 million black men to descend on Washington, D.C., I was excited. I said to myself, yes, this is it. This is the time I've been waiting for. We're going to get all these brothers, we're going to come together, we're going to unite, and we're going to take over our community. We're going to be the ones that push the drug dealers out of our community. We're going to push out everybody that oppresses us. And then the minister's going to drop a business plan on us. I just know when we get down to that march, we're going to get the business plan. We're going to get the Million Man Millionaire plan. That plan, in that plan, we're going to talk about opening up the Million Man convenience stores on every corner throughout Baltimore and every city. And then we were going to open up the Million Man carryout. We'll sell ourselves chicken and fish. We would open up our own Million Man gas stations. And we took all that money in our community too. And then we built our own plan to open up all our own schools. And we teach our own kids. We will make sure that they get the right messages and get positive reinforcement. Because we will believe in our kids. Yeah, I just knew that this march was going to be transformative. So I decided to go down and get involved with the Baltimore Local Organizing Committee. We were holding the meetings down by the state government office building, right off of Martin Luther King Boulevard. We were led by Reverend John L. White. And all the brothers and the sisters that were on the committee were excited. And we were charged with getting 250,000 brothers down to D.C. from Baltimore alone. So I went back to my organization, Black Professional Men, and I charged all of our brothers, each one of us had to get 20 brothers to join us at the march. And then I got on the phone and I called up my brothers from Cap Alpha Psi and said, yo, Frat, we got it. Each one of us got to get 20 brothers to join us at the march. I figured between BPM and KSI, we can get 3,000 guys ourselves. We were very excited about October 16th. The day of the march, my dad, my brother, and I jumped in the car and we head down to DC. We go down to RK Stadium and we park there. As soon as we get out of the car, we're surrounded in love. It's just brothers from all over the place. You got buses from Miami, buses from Chicago, Philadelphia, and brothers are just all over the place, just loving on each other. This was so cool. Me and my brother, my dad, we were excited, so we got headed down that 20-minute walk down East Capitol Street so we could get down to the Capitol. As we approached the Capitol, the sun was just beginning to rise. And as I got to the mall, I was amazed by this million men, a sea of brothers that were all over the place. And we just looked at each other and said, we better hurry up. And we walked briskly and got into position so that we would be able to hear all the speeches. As we got there, I looked around and said, this is incredible. Imagine, if we could get all million of these men to become millionaires, we'd be worth $1 trillion. We could take care of our own community. I was waiting for that plan. Not long after that, the speeches began. Speaker after speaker talked to us about our history. They talked to us about all of our accomplishments. And they talked to us about our responsibilities as black men. As they continued to talk, the men just continued to gather. And as they gathered, I became anxious because I was waiting to hear from Minister Farrakhan. Then he came on, and he did not disappoint. His speech was rousing, inspirational, informative. He talked to us about atonement, that we needed to atone for our behavior and for the way we were living. He challenged all of us to go back and join organizations, churches, and mosques. He admonished us to be good fathers to our children, and if we have the space, to take in other people's children and adopt them. He challenged us to build our own institutions. His speech was incredible. His calls to action were really moving. All of this was great, but you know me, you know what I was waiting for. I'm waiting for the plan. I've waited for that plan in writing, the Million Man Millionaire Plan. But we didn't get it. It was a good day anyway. And as we headed home, we talked to each other about how excited we were about the day. We were glad that we were a part of history made that day, and it was something that we would all remember forever. But for me, that wasn't enough. I thought, I still want that plan. So it was at that moment that I decided, if it is to be, it's up to me. Right? I'm not going to wait for anybody. I already know how to run businesses, so when I got back, I started working on new business plans. We started writing business plans, writing manuals, putting it all together, and the very first business that I helped to get started when I came back from the march was a restaurant with a couple of partners, a brother named Rob Womack and Cleveland Jarrett. The three of us opened up a restaurant called the Redwood Grill. And y'all might remember the grill. We were 2 blocks up from the Inner Harbor. We served great food and live music. That was incredible. One of my missions of opening up these businesses was to build wealth and create jobs. In that business, we employed over 100 people during the time we did that business. The next thing that was important to me was getting control of the media. I hate the way the media portrays black people. So for me, we needed to control our own media. So in 2005, 10 years after the march, I buy national magazine Heart and Soul, the Black Women's Open Rights magazine. Now this was incredible because remember I told you Earl Grey and John Johnson were my heroes, right? Imagine going into CVS, Walmart, Barnes & Noble with my little son, and we looking up on this newsstand, and there's Daddy's magazine next to Heart and Soul, next to Black Enterprise, Ebony and Jack. What do you think about that, son? But I wasn't done with media then. I thought we needed to get into television. So then I wrote a business plan, built a team, and we launched a television network called The Soul of the South. We made it in 28 cities all across the country. We had our own news programming, our own talk shows, our own inspirational programming. In that business, I employed about another 20 people. The magazine, I employed 45 people. It was all about build wealth, create jobs. And finally, in 2015, I had the honor of cutting the ribbon on Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys. And here I am, 10 years later, standing in the cafeteria with Mr. Tyler, with Mr. Washington, and 320 other little boys that we're inspiring to make it to college. Just like the other 200 boys who've already graduated from our school and have made it to college now. We're going to get all the rest of these boys to college. My big thing is I will pour into each one of them and help them become millionaires. So that's what we talk to them about. We teach them entrepreneurship, financial planning. We're teaching them STEM. We're going to create that next generation of leaders. You know, God has been good all the time. And I know that along with my mother and my father, that I was inspired at the Millionaire March 30 years ago to do everything that we've done. Along the way, I've picked up a lot of brothers and sisters who talk to me about owning businesses and wanting mentorship and things like that, and it's been great for me to do that over the years. But recently, I just decided, you know what, it's time to put the Million Man Millionaire plan in action for everybody. So, for those of you who are interested or inspired, I want to encourage you to go to millionmanmillionaire.com. Follow us on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on X, on TikTok. And if you want to help us out with Baltimore Collegiate School for Boys, I'd like to encourage you to go to baltimorecollegiate.com. We always want support from our own community. Sometimes I'm ashamed to say it, I get the biggest checks from other people. But if we all can get together and take care of our own, we will be fulfilling that Million Man Millionaire vision. So, in closing, look, all of us can make a difference, right? But what we all have to say to ourselves, if it is to be, it shall to me. Long live the spirit of the living man.